All right, my next guest is Austin Bashi, who's coming off another big win over Mason Lacobellis, RNC in the third round at XFC Young Guns 1. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How about you, Ryan?
I'm good, man. Another big win. I know they are huge on you. XFC has really been ranting and raving. I've spoken to Myron Malaki on a couple different occasions. So tell me, what did this second win of your career do for your confidence?
It was another big win against a tough opponent. We knew coming in we're gonna face another tough guy. So getting another win against another opponent just keeps the confidence high and just keep me on a roll.
Now, this fight got into the third round. Did you expect it to go that late, or are you a little disappointed that it did? Were you hoping to get a quicker finish?
Yeah, of course I was trying to get the finish quicker, but he was tough, so we kind of had to take him in the deeper rounds and just try to finish him there.
And so, what was the game plan heading into this one against Mason?
The game plan was to kind of strike more, but coming out, I seen he was a heavy hitter. He was throwing hard shots, so we kind of changed up the plan during the fight and just took him down.
Now, you fought for the promotion twice now. What were the differences from XFC 43 versus this most recent one, Young Guns 1?
They just keep doing a great job. They do a great job promoting the fighters, and their whole entire staff is just great. They treat us real well, and even this time was better than last time. They treat us real well.
I know Mr. Malaki is really, huge on pumping up this young guns side of things and getting a lot of like a youth movement in for the sport here. How excited are the rest of the fighters that you've spoken to that have competed for XFC?
Yeah, everyone's that has done the XFC, all of them said they love it. I love it too. I love their like different models they have, the young guns, and because they really build you up well and they match you up real well. They have you good fights. They don't give any like easy fights out. They're all tough, but they make sure you're matched really well, and I love it.
And with obviously the COVID pandemic and everything that's happened in 2020, how did you feel they really streamlined the testing and quarantining and all that stuff that you have to do to be cleared in order to fight come fight night?
Yeah, it's all smooth, all well. Especially there isn't a lot of shows going on right now, but XFC kept that on a roll, and they just keep putting on shows and letting us fighters fight.
Let's talk about that debut win, XFC 43, a unanimous decision victory over Enzo Perez. That one went into deep waters as well, and you got the UD man. Like looking back at that, your professional debut fight, how pleased are you with the win? Was it over a tough guy, or are you bummed that you didn't get a finish?
That was another tough guy. Yeah, very tough guy. But I feel like I could have finished him if I made a few adjustments. If I fight him again, I feel like we could finish him. But he was a tough opponent, and yeah.
What did it do just for your confidence as a young guy in the sport? I mean, to look and see all of the big name fighters that were on that card. I mean, it was headlined by Andre Sukumtat. There was Bobby Nash. There was Kurt Hollabaugh. All these big names that have fought at the highest of levels. Do you sometimes got to pinch yourself and be like, man, I'm already here at one of the best promotions in the world?
Yeah, it was of course a very good experience. It was my first fight on NBC Sports, and with all those great names around, it's just kind of cool to fit in with all of those guys and fight by them, with them.
So give me your background in MMA and combat sports. For anybody that doesn't know you, how did you get onto this path?
I just always loved watching fighting, and my cousin kind of got me into it, and ever since then, me and my brother just kept it going, kept it on a roll, and just kept fighting, and here we are today.
Did you start with wrestling or jiu-jitsu? Was there?
It was Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu at first, and then my last 3 years of high school, that's when I wrestled.
All right. And how do you feel like you're picking up the striking aspect of things? Is that coming along quite nicely as well?
Honestly, like, yeah, people don't think I have striking right now just because I haven't used it, but I really do feel like that's one of the best parts of my game. I just haven't had the chance to show it, but once I have the chance to show it, then people see that my striking is just as equal as my wrestling and ground game.
So how old are you now?
19.
You're 19. So what else do you do outside of train MMA? Like, do you have a job? Are you in school?
No, actually, I'm just full-time training MMA morning and nights, usually 6, 7 days a week. So just a full-time job pretty much.
Wow, how have you been able to do that? Because there's so many fighters that are older than you that have a lot more experience as a professional goes. They still have to work a full-time job. Do you have a lot of sponsors?
It's my family support. They're really supporting me big time, and they've been with me for this whole journey. And they pretty much I have me fighting and training, and they're kind of supporting me.
That's fantastic, man. Good for you. You can't beat that. You got supportive family. Do they sometimes, get a little nervous going in, stepping inside the cage? I know
Yeah,
if I was a fighter, my mom would be beside herself.
yeah. They all get nervous, but like this last fight, they just all got together and watched it together, and they get nervous, but they enjoy watching it.
Who gets the most nervous? Is there one person that sometimes is like, geez, I don't know if I want to watch it?
It's probably my mom. My
Yeah.
mom is at the most.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. One thing that I found interesting, Austin, is you only had two fights as an amateur, if I'm not mistaken, just looking at Tapology. What was the decision, to turn pro so quickly while you're still so young? Why not get some more, experience as an amateur?
So amateur MMA fights I only had two, but I have a lot of experience like elsewhere. I have a handful of Muay Thai fights and with wrestling and jiu-jitsu matches. I know those aren't a fight, but those are still experience. I have like 400 matches with those combined. But the real reason why we turned pro was because it was impossible to get fights. The opponents would just always back out or they wouldn't show up. And then the whole COVID thing happened, so it was impossible to get fights. And then we did the tryouts and got my spot there. And then they offered me a pro fight live on NBC. So that's when we took it.
Yeah, well, a great promotion to do that for as well. As far as the pandemic goes, things are starting to get a little bit back to normal. I mean, it's mostly behind us. Just run me through what 2020 was like for you, and obviously with the inability to actually get fights for a while, just how frustrating it may have been.
It was frustrating, very frustrating. But I had my two amateur fights back to back, February and then March. And then from like March to till November, I didn't really have a fight or anything. But then XFC 43 came around, and that was the first fight I had back. So it felt good to fight for them.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me, what else do you like outside of combat sports? Do you have any other hobbies? Do you get into any other sports?
Just not too much. Just kind of hang out with the family. I like watching fights too on the free time. That's pretty much it.
Who were your favorite fighters? You must have a couple of inspirations that you look up to.
Yeah, for sure. Frankie Edgar, Demetrius Johnson. Those are two of my favorites.
All right. And as far as the weight cut to 135, like what's the biggest you get? Like if you decide to take a week off and you're just gonna go eat a bunch of pizzas and just have a little fun, like what's the heaviest you get?
Yeah, I could get up to like 150, 151 usually, I but after like when I come back and train and stuff, I could get back to like 146 usually. So it's not terrible.
Have you thought about fighting at different weight classes as your career progresses, or do you feel like bantamweight is where you're just gonna make your home at?
No, I definitely thought about fighting at flyweight before 125. I feel like that would be the right division for me. So in the near future, that's where we're headed to.
How tall are you?
5'5".
Okay. Yeah. So that would make sense if you were to be done there. When you look at the guys at the top of the 125-pound and 135-pound division, right now, like in the world, like, how far away do you feel like you are from, maybe being at that level and fighting those champions? I mean, obviously that has to be the goal. So give me like your time frame of where or when you think you'll get to that point.
So yeah, right now they just have a lot of more experience than me. So that's what I'm just trying to build up my experience, get a lot more fights. But I don't know, like 10 more fights, 10 to 12 more fights, and I'll feel like I'm ready to compete with those high level guys, and I feel like I can compete with the best.
Did you watch UFC 260 this past weekend?
No, because I was fighting that day, so I didn't really get a chance to watch it.
Oh, a lot of the guys, they would watch it after your fight because the pay-per-view starts so late. You didn't do that?
No, I didn't. I was just with the team, kind of.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I talked to another friend of mine who fought on a different card that same night, and they all got together. I think it was like at a Buffalo Wild Wings afterwards and celebrated while watching the
Mhm.
fights. I know a lot of people do that. Run me through what the perfect 2021 is for you now moving forward. Obviously, you got a great relationship with the XFC, and you're going to continue to grow there. When are you hoping to fight next? Do you have an upcoming opponent that you'd like to step in there with, or are you just kind of letting their matchmakers deal with that?
Yeah, I'm just kind of letting the matchmakers deal with that. I'm gonna take this week off, and then Monday we'll decide again when we want to fight. Hopefully in the next month and a half, 2 months. That's when I like to fight. I try to get like 5 fights a year, so I got 4 more left this year, hopefully.
Fantastic. And when you look at all the other fighters that are in the XFC promotion, is there one name you can give me that you're maybe excited to step in there against and test yourself, or is there?
What, yeah, I don't like calling out anyone. Just whatever the matchmakers make, that's the fight we'll take.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Austin, I appreciate the time, my man. You're clearly off to a great start in your career, 2-0 for one of the best promotions in the country right now, XFC. Before I let you go, I'm sure you have plenty of people to thank, sponsors, and tell people where to follow you on social media.
Yeah, so you could just follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Austin Bashi. And of course, I just want for this fight want to thank all my sponsors, my family, cousins, friends, coaches, training partners, because these are the guys that are helping me get to the top each and every day.